Hello, this is Kevin from Majestic Fitness, and today we've got the Johnny Klein here to tell us his story. Tell us what's going on in his life.
Yeah.
How you doing, Johnny?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
I'm glad you're here. And Johnny was kind enough to be the first victim, and I say that word in a loving way. This is our first video podcast and first podcast with two people. So let's just roll with it. So Johnny, you have been on in the past two and a half years.
Yeah, almost two. I think in a few days it'll be 2 years.
Yeah, you have changes an understatement. I would call it probably a transformation. And I remember the first time you came to the classes at Majestic Fitness at the old building. Can you just briefly say what you were feeling like the night before, even the morning of, what was going through your head that morning?
Yeah, I think it was more the just the unknown. I guess I didn't really know what to expect. Like when I had said I was going to start coming to my first class, I think I was just hoping not to embarrass myself or be able to do at least most of it on what we went through that first time.
Okay, so would you say you had like anxiety or fear or excitement? What was...
Yeah, probably a little of everything. Like I knew I wanted to make a change and start improving myself, but at the same time, like it's not easier just to start showing up with people you don't necessarily know very well and start working out, or just not really sure if you can even handle the workout you're about to do.
Right. And do you think that, in your opinion, that is why many people don't start?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like a challenge just to come in for the first time.
Okay.
And just kind of see what that's like, or even like maybe if you're a member and like watch the class going on, thinking maybe like I don't know if I can do that, or like I think it can be a little daunting, or like just it is probably like invokes fear for some people.
Yeah, well, because you were a member before the first class, and you came, you were consistent for a minute, and then you dropped off. Is that right?
Yeah, probably for the first month or so I was coming maybe a couple, like 2-3 days a week, and then just really dropped off completely, I would say. Like
Okay.
I think like a lot of people it's kind of like the New Year's resolution thing where you start out strong and then like it's easy to lose track or fizzle out pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of we were talking about before, like about motivation, how it's can be fleeting, and a lot of people feel motivated or even inspired, but they don't put a structure or a plan together. So, do you want to speak about motivation?
Yeah.
Like what? Okay, so speak about. So before we get into that, what was your biggest motivator to come back to the gym and start classes?
So for me, like first off, I have like 4 kids now. I had 3 when I started coming, and like I like just knew physically and mentally, like I was just trending in the wrong direction, like gaining more weight, gaining more inches, not really slowing down in that process. I would say over like the previous decade, really, like it was just kind of a gradual thing. Where I think as you get older too, it's a lot easier to like quickly gain those things, gain weight, gain inches, and not even necessarily realize that it's happening at first, just like with life being busy all the time, or
Right.
like it's easy to like trend in the wrong direction if you don't like try to make a change.
Right.
But then also in my family, there's just a long history of things like diabetes or obesity or heart disease.
Okay.
So like I just knew I was trending in a bad direction if I didn't like try to stop and do something differently.
Okay. So the motivation looked like you did not want to. You wanted to break the cycle, maybe of.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we all have some cycles in our lineage that we definitely need to break. I'm included very much, but Yeah, sometimes the motivator is almost, uh, gosh, could it almost, your motivation almost be a fear? Like, what was your biggest fear about coming to exercise again?
Yeah, I think like just in my personal life, one of my biggest fears was just not being around long enough to see my kids grow up. If I wasn't gonna start making changes, because it can just kind of snowball very quickly, and I think like your overall health really depends on like things like your weight or just how active you are. Like, and that might not apply to everyone, but just
So,
for me personally, like I could just notice like walking up and down stairs, I get out of breath like sometimes, or like playing on the floor with my kids, like I could barely like walk afterwards, like trying to stand up, or like if I was kneeling, or
right.
like
Oh my gosh.
like or just like lower back pain, all those type of things, just like doing basic things. Like it definitely like was getting worse, like, and I just kind of knew I had to make a change.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what were you up to? You don't have to. You could just whisper to me if you wanna.
No, I was like the heaviest I knew I was at was like 268, but I think I was probably heavier than that too, because I didn't really weigh myself until I think after a few weeks
All right,
of being
so
in classes for a while.
268 pounds. That sounds like you knew how much you weighed.
Yeah, well,
Usually
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
270, 280, whatever.
Yeah,
if
but
you're
I think I was
268
probably heavier because I didn't really weigh myself the first time until like I was in classes for
Okay.
a few weeks probably.
Okay. I have to turn down the music in the gym real quick, so just hold on to that thought for a
Yeah.
second. It's always something. So, this is the beauty about this. This is this is real. So so you're at 268. You have a fear of knots, and I think you got to go a little closer into the mic, just a little
Yep.
bit. Yeah, or move the box at the monkey a little closer to you. Yeah, one of those two. So you have a fear of not being with your kids or having a high quality of life with them because of your restrictions that could occur from being overweight.
Yeah, for sure. And just I wanted to make sure I set an example for them too.
Right. So on that topic of fear, so we have you were motivated by that fear, if I'm hearing that correctly, but you also have there's got to be a fear of on for you personally walking into the gym again. Like what were you intimidated? Was there the fear could be a motivator, but there's also a fear of which will put you in paralysis. You just will not make a move. So what would that fear? What did that look like? If maybe you didn't have fear, I don't know, but what do you?
Yeah, I think like we were kind of talking about the first class, like where it was kind of hard to come to that first class just because I didn't really know if I'd be able to do it, or like just didn't want to embarrass myself. But I think just coming to the gym after like a time away, or like if you want to make a change, is difficult because I think it's just kind of human nature to like maybe put more worry into like what other people think, or like especially like I think a gym can be kind of an intimidating environment when there's people that you can tell have been there a long time, or like really like are lifting heavy weights or like doing a lot. Like the first time you see that, you're kind of like it might be difficult to like if you see someone bench press a certain amount, like for you to follow up behind them and do maybe like a fourth of that. Like I think that can be like challenging for some people, like, or they might not want to do it. Like I think that happens at the gym a lot, but in my experience, like most people, like pretty much everyone I've ever met in a gym, like really doesn't care what other people are doing. They're just worried about their own workout or what they wanted to do when they walked in the door.
That's the big
They're
secret,
not like
folks.
judging or like,
Nobody cares.
And like for me personally, like when I see
Yeah.
new people in the gym, I just like I like seeing someone for the first time, or like I think it's really helpful too. Just sometimes you see people doing different workouts or different exercises that maybe you didn't think of, or
Yeah.
Like you can learn a lot just by watching other people or just seeing what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
And like you develop relationships, like not even like in the classes, but just overall. Like when you come certain times of the day, you see the same people usually.
Yeah,
and you can kind of get advice or like see what they're doing and ask them about it. And like,
yeah,
I think it definitely helps like kind of alleviate all those fears once you kind of just see like people aren't here to like judge you or like they're just worried about themselves really, and not in a bad way, just like they're not paying attention to like what you're doing really for the most part.
Right, because they're worried about what you're thinking about them.
Yeah,
I would bet if I had $100 in the bank right now, I would bet $100 that it's they're thinking the same thing you are. So there is the mental aspect of physical fitness in the realm of starting and even maintaining. I mean, that's I would imagine for you, what like what support, what structures do you set in place to make sure you don't go off the rails? I mean, you made or maybe not off the rails. That's pretty extreme, but that you can course correct if you notice yourself going in a direction that you don't want to. There's this concept of scaffolding. So I still am in construction, and scaffolding is a structure that's built around whatever you're working. So with the body, with your health, that could be considered the temple. So if you look at it in that analogy, you're building something so you can work on your temple, on your structure consistently, and you have something to land onto at different levels. So my question is, what support, what scaffolding do you have is set in place, hopefully on a solid foundation that keeps you on track? Because you've been killing it for 2 years now.
Yeah, just about 2 years here.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think like I'm lucky to have a really like understanding family that's very supportive, especially my wife. Like she thinks I'm crazy for waking up so early in the morning to come work out, but like I've never like had any problems saying like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow at 5. Like she really like doesn't care, like, and like has never really had an issue with any of that.
She's not. I think, where are you going to the gym again?
Yeah, for sure. But I think there is like definitely like when I'm at home, I'm making sure I'm like taking care of what I need to with my family and like making sure I'm paying attention to the right things. So like if I do like come to the gym or go for a run like at night or whatever, I'm not like kind of abandoning like what I should be focused on. I think I try to keep like an open and just constantly monitoring that. So it doesn't become like, oh, he's gone again, or like he's like worried about this, not about us type of thing, or even like signing up for a 5K on the weekend, or like I'm trying to make sure that doesn't become like an issue overall. But like my wife has been great through the whole like just transformation, I would say. It's also helpful just with the group classes or just having people will be there every morning. Like I think that helps as well.
Right.
Or like if they don't like see you for a while, like they might reach out, or like vice versa. Just make sure things are okay. I think that definitely is helpful. And then I think just building like your schedule, or like trying to keep a structure and that discipline around like knowing like every morning at 5 a.m. I'm gonna go to the gym, and there's days that you wake up and you're just like, I really don't want to go to the gym today. Like I don't feel good. I'm sore. I'm tired. I didn't sleep enough. My kid had me up until 1 a.m. or something. But I would say if you wake up, like it's important just to go, and like I've never come in and felt bad after I left. Like you might not really feel it when you first walk in the door, but by the time you leave, like I've always been happy that I've come and worked out, and you feel so much better for the rest of the day once you do that. At least for me personally.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think that applies to most people because your feel good. Endorphins and your all the chemicals that serotonin, all of the things that that make you feel at pleasureful and at ease. You get pumped through your system when you after your or during your exercising and even residually after. But I applaud you that you recognize, and when I say applaud, I just, it's very important to have a support system, yes, for yourself, but also for the people that love you and care about you. And that doesn't have to be your wife. It could be, your brother, sister, kids.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I have seen it where there are people that will go to the gym to spite the other person, and that usually doesn't end well. Just from my perspective, what I've seen, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that could be really something for people to ponder on both sides of the fence. Why are you working out? Where is your support system? And if you don't have that support system, that healthy support system, how could you make that happen? And that's part of the journey. And I heard you say transformation, and the transformation is a powerful word, because that's not just, oh, I've lost weight. It's something shifted. So prior to your transformation and then after, and this is kind of a subjective timeline, but what was maybe the two biggest things you noticed different besides your weight loss? Just one or two things that you distinctly know changed for the better.
Yeah, I think just from that first class to coming here for a while, you could definitely some of the, I don't exactly remember everything we did that first day, but just in general, just some of the exercises that were I could barely get through, or could maybe only do a third of. Within a few months, I was able to do everything in some degree, maybe not the heaviest weights or anything like that, but I could get through it. I think the more you put into it, the easier some of those things become, or you can definitely see a change. And it doesn't necessarily take that long to start seeing those changes. It can just be very little things, or but I think you just kind of have to build off that. When you start seeing some of those changes, just keep going, because it's different for everyone. It can be different speeds that some of that happens, or maybe you might not lose weight as quickly, or but I think you can definitely see change in some way. You'll feel better, you'll maybe lose weight, maybe lose inches.
Okay.
Maybe something that was difficult the first time you came gets easier as you go, or you're able to add more weight or add more reps on something that you could not really do very well the first time you tried it.
So would you say, so during that transformation, because obviously, and then if you could just speak a little closer or move the box closer to you,
yeah,
that'd be great. I don't know if I don't have my headphones on.
Yeah, sure.
So I think what you said there is important, because during a transformation, something that tragic, or not tragic, jeez, something that something that beautiful, you maybe lose sight of what is occurring during the process. Your confidence is building slowly, morning by morning by morning, and my question to you is, during that process, did you notice anything carrying over from the gym to your work, personal, social life? Did you notice anything shifting because of the confidence you were gaining?
Yeah, for sure. I think, for me at least, I definitely started feeling better. I had more energy. Just being able to play with my kids, not being sore, getting up off the floor and my knees are locked up, or my back or whatever. I could definitely see a change there pretty quickly. But then just your clothes start fitting better. You start needing to buy new clothes, because they don't fit anymore. Like that's just a good feeling, and it like I know like it like can be different for everyone, but at least for me, like that's really like it kind of just snowballs. I would say where like you kind of get that like something changes or you notice it, and then you're kind of like, oh, like
For the best.
yeah, like and then that I think just helps like build on it where like it helps those mornings where maybe you don't feel like working out or like you're sore or tired or whatever it is like.
Right.
Like, I think that makes that process easier to like keep coming. Yeah, I think it just kind of
So, all right. So
like
during
any
the
little
process,
change just helps
right,
you.
because there's, and again, it is a lifelong thing. You know, just having a fitness lifestyle, where you're probably more. This is what you do. I get up at 5, I work out, and good things will happen. I'll just let it happen. And I know for a fact, because you're a fast runner, is that you are result orientated in a way. But I think you didn't come in with, I'm at 268, I need to be at 220 by October. And if correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe you ever said that. And in my opinion, and being in the fitness industry, because you didn't have that mindset, it seems like you're able to sustain this through the best and the worst times, because it's just who you are. It's what you do. It's not your weight. It's not what your weight is. Did you meet that? Because sometimes people don't hit that mark, and then they just drop off, and then gain that weight back. But you seem to have had this mindset. Okay, you know what? Five days a week. See what happens. Which I'm an advocate for, because I do believe that's you're letting the results speak for themselves, and not getting tied to the results. But yeah, I just love that you have family as the foundation of your inspiration, your motivation, of your fitness. If I'm hearing that correct, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like that's definitely the leading factor.
And I think that is so important, because motivation is fleeting. Inspiration comes and goes. But your family, it will always keep feeding you something. They'll keep challenging you, and you want to be prepared for that challenge, and that's where you'll get an abundance of inspiration, motivation. You don't even have to go seek it out. You don't have to go scroll through Instagram and be inspired by somebody that that might not even be real, man. I mean, there's some crazy stuff out there right now. But point is this: if you keep with the people that are supporting you and care about you and love you, the well will never go dry. Is usually what I've found. You want a deep well that has plenty of nourishment, and again, not to touch on this, but your family has that for you because you've invested in it. There are families that don't, and that's where we have to be careful not to project onto other people. Well, do it for your kids. Do it for. Well, what if my kids hate me? What if my wife is what if my family doesn't look like yours? So again, I'm so glad for you that is your footing, and I'm also hoping that others can find something, some kind of well to.
Yeah, I think to that point, like I think the average person wouldn't just show up at a gym to sign up for no reason. Like I think people walk in the door, they would call you because they like have something they want to change or something they want to do differently. So I think whatever that motivation is or whatever that reason is, that's what like that person should use to move forward. And it might not be family, it might not be like some other person or some other thing in their lives, like maybe something internal or maybe it is something external. But I think that's what you would channel to like move forward at that point.
I agree because you have to open that door gently. Because again, you kicked it off where the motivation was your fear. It was your fear of not having a quality of life with your kids, not being the best dad, the best husband. It was driven out of fear. So a little counterintuitive, but you can't use fear as a motivator for the rest of your life, because, in my opinion, and I'm guilty of this, I've used fear as a motivator for a long time, and you keep chasing something or running from something that will catch you. You're not fast enough. and that's and that's what I found on my end. But so what? So just real quick, we're gonna wrap this up soon. Prior to your transformation, which is ongoing, right? Where was your athletic ability at? Like, were you in the gyms? Were you not in the gyms? Were you playing sports? What was going on?
Yeah, I think, like, back to high school, I was a cross-country runner, like, all through high school. And
you're fast, dude. Yeah, I mean...
Like, I do like running, for sure. I run outside the gym, like, not necessarily, like, so... like that has been part of like this journey as well, like coming back to running more and more. And even before I joined the gym in the group classes, I did try running on and off, like in varying degrees, but like it would always kind of end in like some type of injury or like shin splints or like my hips or something would like start hurting, and then like I would have to take a week off, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it was, and never really got into like a consistent like just pattern. I would say like I would try it and then something would happen and you'd fall off for a while and then you'd try it again and something would happen. But it wasn't really until I changed everything else and lost some of that weight or like just started consistently working out that the running was just kind of an add-on and not like a detriment anymore. Where like I've been lucky enough where I haven't really had any injuries or anything, but I think a lot of that is because you start kind of slow and build up. And you just need to listen to your body at the same time, I think, too. Like, there's a difference between being sore and, like, being injured or...
Yeah,
like,
for sure. You got to play hurt.
Yeah.
You will be playing hurt probably for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But you'll notice the difference between playing hurt and being injured. That's another thing, too, is just being aware of your body more. But I just got a few more questions. And thank you so much for your insight on your perspective and how you view what fitness and the community has done for you. And what would you say is maybe one of the most important attributes or aspects of community? What is? I heard you say accountability was big, feeling connected in some way. What is, in your opinion, how important is community for you?
I think it's definitely helpful when you like build relationships or make friends, and like I think it helps with the accountability, like you said, to keep coming back, or maybe even like challenge yourself in different ways, like signing up for a race or a 5K.
Get like a little competitive for other people. You could say that.
Yeah, I think so. Like there's a little bit of that sometimes, like which I think is like healthy too. Like,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think as long as you keep it light and keep it fun, like that's what's important. Like At the end of the day, I think as long as everyone just keeps challenging themselves and trying to improve, that's really what matters. At the end of the day, like, nobody cares, or like for me personally, like,
there's a few
what
people
number
that
I
really,
can lift, like,
their
isn't
panties in a bunch. But,
yeah. But like for me at least, like the number on the weight isn't necessarily as important as actually just doing it.
Yeah, and that's a fun thing too, is when you do see people give you that banter. You know, like, oh, you know, Johnny, you know, he's running. I don't want to run next to him, and it's cool. It's fun because it is a fun, competitive. It's healthy. It's a healthy, competitive mindset, and you definitely have that for sure. And I have seen you support others during the process as well, during their journey, you know, through this. So one last question, probably the most important question of this podcast is, it's. I want you to tell me about your nickname. Now, everyone that I know, well, except one person, maybe two, you are given a nickname, and you can receive it or not receive it. And you are not allowed to give yourself a nickname. So, do you mind if I tell them your nickname, your gym nickname?
No.
Okay, so Johnny, let's put it this way. AF was born at Majestic Fitness. AF, the birth of AF, and not as a little cherub, as a badass, right? AF, and I'll let Johnny just tell us how he feels about it. And well, first I'll say I love it. It's so fitting because John is, well, you're kind of an anomaly because you're very unassuming. You don't speak much. He's all business on the gym floor, and then you come here, and I'm like, who's this guy? This is Johnny AF. So just real quick, just say, you know, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about having a gym nickname?
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't. It's not like the reason I come or anything like that, but like there's definitely like worse nicknames you could have. Like like AF, I think is a pretty cool nickname. I feel like I think most people would probably say that.
I wish I was AF.
So like I'm like just very kind of quiet, and like I'm not like an extrovert by any means. So like for me personally, like I like the nickname, but it's not like I would ever call myself that or like broadcast it out like outside the gym at all. So
yeah. That stays in the gym.
Yeah.
And that's who you are. That's you definitely embrace AF, Johnny AF. So yeah, there you have it, Johnny AF on the podcast. If you want to check us out, you can go to majesticfit.com, and we will be on YouTube with this podcast. And we are on Apple and Spotify as well. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Yep, thanks you.
Cool. Thank you. Hello? Hi.
Have you not seen me calling you for the past 20 minutes?
No, I have this